How are you guys feeling now that you've got the complexion going on? Are we ready to wrap it out with some lippies? After contour, what am I gonna layer right above the contour? Our strawberry. So that could be one of anything. It could be one of the Shimmer Rose from the 6-color contour palette. It could be the Shimmer Bronzer. Or I would love today, here's the deal about photographic makeup. You guys have a lot of stuff on there that makes you pretty matte. Amazing thing with that is it's gonna stay on. It's not gonna move, it's in place. Downfall is, does anyone feel like your skin looks a little dry or dehydrated? Feeling a little corpsey? Let's revive. We have to add in some things to pop in and reflect light. So I want you to either pull from your 6-color contour palette, go ahead and pull either your Shimmer Rose or your Shimmer Bronze, have that on deck. Or if you have one of the brand new blush colors for spring, have that on deck. I'm loading it onto the Dual Foundation Blender brush. We've got a crystal clear guideline, so her contour is right through here. It's placed beautifully. We don't want to overlap on top of this, so we're going to go just above there. My goal is to stay on the outer half of her cheek for placement. I'm loading up my brush really well, and I'm doing my placement first. I'm going to place on both cheeks. That's my first move. I'm going from the outer edge of the face, maybe about to like the corner of her eye, because it's going to get bigger when we blend. I'm depositing more color for placement than what I usually would because we're going for a little bit more of a dramatic feel. Once your placement is done, I want you to clear your brush. Meaning, to clear your brush, we want to swipe off any excess blush or bronzer that you've got on this brush. We place, then we blend, and we blend with a wet, dry brush, clean brush, no product on it. Because the goal is not to keep on depositing more and end up looking like the nutcracker. We want just to blend what's already been placed on. So I'm clearing my brush, getting everything off. I'll go ahead and close up my packaging. So now let's blend. Talk to me about the blending motion that you remember. So we're going to go upward, little circles. Why do we go upward instead of just going back and forth? Yeah, I heard gravity. And what about how the color is being dispersed? We're going up and away, and we're not overlapping so much onto what? The contour. So the contour is still beautifully intact. Additionally, when you go up and away from the nose, you don't run so much of a risk of your blush ending up like taking over this whole interior part of the cheek. You're keeping it in control just above the contour. Now we're gonna intensify our highlighter. So what are our options for getting a super pop on the highlight? Sugar Cakes or Gilded Angels. The warm side of the Gilded Angels can be a super beautiful blush, especially in the summertime. If you are in a pinch, like you're traveling and you need a highlight, but you don't have your cakes or your crush with you, you can use the highlighter from Gilded Angels. But my top pick is to have either Sugar Cakes or Sugar Crush on deck, and let's intensify those highlight zones. We want the skin to look young and youthful, even though it's super matte. Run me through where I should highlight. Above my little strawberry zone, we're still in the same brush, which I'm obsessed with. Next, ooh, tip of the nose. I'm gonna go with the tiny end of this brush for accuracy. We're just placing right now, not blending. Where else? The Cupid's bow. Popping it in. What's my guideline for the Cupid's bow? How far out do I take it? Just up to, this is your guideline, the nostrils. That's as far as you go. Because you're trying to avoid what kind of a look? The milk mustache. Where else will we highlight? Inner corner of the eye. Tiny end of this brush, we'll go in and do the inner corner of the eye and just really re-highlight this. Where else? In between the eyebrows, yeah. And if you want to be extra glowy, one more little tip that you can do is whatever's left on your brush, you can circle it around the outer edge of your face like a C shape. So you're wrapping around. Makes the brow look really crisp too. And younger. So then we'll clear our brush and we'll blend. We've placed, now we're gonna blend. And this is really about marrying your highlighter into the surrounding skin, but we have one goal in mind. Make it a goal to keep the shiny stuff like illuminators and things that bounce light. I want you to try your best to keep those out of places where you have deep pores. If by accident you cross over those zones and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can see every pore on my entire infrastructure, because now it has sparkles on it, and sparkles intensify dips in the skin sometimes. You can go back over it with what to matte it out. Pressed powder, vanilla, whatever you think is appropriate. Go ahead and blend it out and double check, do your last looks, go side to side. Make sure that you have not highlighted and accentuated zones where you have a lot of texture. And what did we do to rehydrate if you're way too powdery? Do you remember? There was one really funny item, the spritz. I really don't want to do a lot of hydrating in her T-zone. I just want to focus it right out here on the outer edge of her face. I'll do that on both sides. Walk me through primer and lippies. You're priming around the lip line. If needed, if you don't feel like you need it, no big deal. I would. Primer, powder, and the matte. There you go. Awesome. So go ahead and do that. Primer, powder, matte. Once you've got your matte in place, what's your next move? Blotch. Think about color families, okay? And think about and consider your outfit. If you're wearing something that's floral, you want your lip color to complement whatever color family you're in. If your outfit is more like on the blue scale and you want to pop, blue-based reds or berry tones like Jewel. So Triumph would be a blue-based red. Jewel would be more in that like berry family because you're looking for things that have a blue undertone. Consider your outfit when you pop your lippy. Also consider what have you got going on in your eyes. It's funny to me, like around 4th of July is really the only time that I ever want to see people with blue on their eyes and red on their lips. They need to be buddies. So if you've got a bunch of blue and gray on your eyes, you're going to complement it with something like Babe, that's like a cool nude. Or if you like berry tones, you can go into like a purple. You could do a berry. You could do a blue-based pink like Driven. You want to keep in the same family. Whereas if you have a lot of warm on your eyes, like you're using the Gilded Angels palette or the Sunset Skylines palette, it's more appropriate for you to grab something that has some warmth to it, like using something that has a copper undertone, more of a gold undertone, like Radiance or Cherub, because it's got like the more warm flecks. So when you're picking a lip color, don't be haphazard with it. I would challenge you to lay it next to your eye color palette and go like, okay, do these make sense together? Is there a better option? And then also taking into consideration, what are you wearing that day? Does it go together? So go ahead and blot. I'll have you pop on whatever your lip lacquer is, and we're gonna move into our closing of the day.